Richard Tice gets really upset about the idea of raising awareness of Islamophobia, and I wonder why that is. Let's get straight into the video.
Earlier in the actually, for people who haven't heard this, earlier a Labour MP, well, it was actually Tahir Ali, the Labour MP for Birmingham, Hall Green and Moseley, who has formed, asked the Prime Minister the following question, peeps. Have a watch.
November marks Islamophobia Awareness Month. Last year, the United Nations Human Rights Council adopted a resolution condemning the desecration of religious texts, including the Quran, despite opposition from the previous government. Acts of such mindless desecration only serve to fuel division and hatred within our society. Will the Prime Minister commit to introducing measures to prohibit the desecration of all religious texts and the prophets of the Abrahamic religions?
Starmer stands up, does his, of course, doesn't say, doesn't mention that we're a country of free speech, Richard Tice.
I was in the chamber listening to it, and I thought, well, when's Christophobia month? When's anti-Semitism month?
Always with the whataboutism when you don't have a point.
Yeah. Why does Islamophobic need a month? Maybe every month should be saying we don't want racism, we don't want hatred. But I
agree. Is that going to be in the next reform contract? We're going to have a policy of no racism, no hatred. I'd like to see that.
He does, and him standing there, he actually creates division, disunity, disharmony by highlighting something.
No, he doesn't. This is a complete fallacy. He would never say this about anti-Semitism. Oh, you can't talk about anti-Semitism. It creates division. Oh, you can't talk about men's issues. It creates... No, it doesn't. You can talk about women's issues. You can talk about men's issues. You can talk about anti-Semitism and you can talk about Islamophobia. It does not create division. The people that create division are people like Richard Tice who don't want to talk about it. That's why he's getting upset about it. It's against his interest to actually raise the real problem of Islamophobia.
He's the one who's discriminating. What we should be saying is we don't want any of that nonsense, right? We've already got...
That's always what they say, like, I'm not the racist, you're the racist. It's not an argument. Literally, he's got no arguments.
Existing laws that deal with it. We don't need any more laws. We've got too many laws in the first place. I quite like, actually, the police to focus on just, preventing real crimes like stabbing people, raping people, shoplifting, what most drug dealers, most people will call real crimes. And look,
Islamophobia is a real crime. Muslims face violence, and we need to take it seriously. For example, Islamophobia takes many different forms, but one form that's really pernicious is the media coverage. So, for example, if a Muslim commits a violent crime, it's always framed in terms of his race, religion, ethnicity. But if a white man does it, it's never framed in terms of his religious background, his race, his ethnicity. It's always framed as, oh, it's just some nutter, it's a lone wolf, it's mental health. It's never framed in terms of his politics or his religion. And it's always framed as terrorism if it's a Muslim. Never. That word is very rarely used. For example, there was a neo-Nazi who tried to stab earlier in the year, in April, a recent asylum seeker. And I had people in my comments, oh, he's just a nutter. They would never say that about a Muslim who does some crime, attacks some people. They would never frame it like that. It'd be, he's a terrorist. And that's the imbalance we have. It's not, the way they're represented often is that biased Islamophobic way.
No one wants to desecrate a religious text. It's just not form. It's not the done thing. Make it morally unacceptable. That's the way to deal with this stuff. In a society that recognises we're founded on Christianity, we welcome all faiths, all skin colours.
We're not. We're a secular country. Most people in the UK are atheists. We're not. Doesn't matter what we're founded on. Objectively, we are a secular country. That's how we should frame it. Not, oh, we're a Christian country. No, we're not.
All genders, but here's the point. Stop this banging on about division. Month this, month that, month the other. I don't want any of it.
Of course you don't, because that's inconvenient to you. Pointing out division, that you're causing and you're augmenting is very inconvenient to you. But again, would he do it with anyone else? No, he wouldn't. He would not do it. Would he say that to a Jew? Never.
Father-in-law Rob, who's a mad reformist, okay, genuinely, and gets really, really angry about all sorts of things. He's already got angry about the farmers. We'll talk about that in a sec.
Again, that's all they have. Anger, emotion, not thinking.
He's always wanted to put his St George's flag up because he's proud of being British. And he tried to once. I think the council wrote him a letter or something, saying he couldn't.
I think that this didn't happen. This is a lie. It's not illegal to fly a St George's cross. If you want to do that, that's fine. They always get so hysterical about this stuff, like, oh, you cancel. This doesn't happen. Jeremy Kyle is lying. You should get a lie detector test on him. If you get...
Couldn't do that. So my argument would be alongside this. I'm absolutely with you. Have your religion. But don't you... I mean, it's like I say to my daughter, don't you dare tell me I can't have my religion. Don't you...
No one is saying that. No one is saying that. You were the ones who were saying that. You were saying it's divisive to talk about the pressures, the problems that Muslims face in the UK.
Have your opinions. Don't tell me I can't have my... Don't try and cancel mine, because apparently you've come here, you have yours, I have mine. Don't mine are what, suddenly out of date or wrong. That's what I hate. That's what I find so wrong.
The real focus is for those.
Yes, they are out of date. Yes, they are. And we're allowed to have that opinion too.
Those who are lucky enough to enjoy the privilege of coming to live in the United Kingdom or being born in the UK of a different faith. Why don't we just focus on integrating, learning the language?
They don't want that. Plenty of people integrate. The majority, they don't want integration. They want to cause up and stir up hate.
Language and contributing by working so that we...
They do. Immigrants do contribute. They're one-fifth the workforce. They contribute greatly.
We can grow the economy so that everybody gets better off. Because guess what? Better off people means that actually society is improving and people's health is getting better. People live longer, happier lives. And that's how we live in harmony.
But immigration has got nothing to do with the economy. Yeah, we've got a dead economy, but that's got nothing to do with immigrants. It's people are not paid properly for the work. What do we make in the UK? What, in the last 14 years, have the Tories done to actually build an infrastructure where there's good, high-skilled jobs? There's none. That's what you should be talking about, not immigrants. Immigrants don't cause, businesses to pay their employees low wages. Not true. There's no correlation there. It's the businesses. And also, it's the government that has to subsidise people's pay through universal credit. So businesses need to pay people properly. But obviously, he's not going to do that because he's a businessman himself. And all he wants to do is continue the race to the bottom and pay people at the least he can get away with.
Poorer, and you create this level of division. And this is what has happened under the last...
Again, you don't create division by calling out racism to specific groups. He would never say this about anti-Semitism. He would not. And rightly so, he shouldn't. But for Islamophobia, oh no, it's divisive. No, you're the divisive one. But they constantly project. It's all about projection.
Last government and what's happening under this government, then people get more stressed, more anxious, and that's the road to ruin.
And you talk about division. This will do... I mean, Starmer...
So, that's all I have for you today. Comment below. Is it truly divisive to call out racism? Because that's all I hear constantly. And I think it's really... It's kind of bullshit, isn't it? You would never say that again about men's issues. It's divisive to talk about men's issues. No, it's not. So, comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.